Hi, everyone, and welcome to Through the Curve. And today we have Randy with us again out of Delaware. And myself, I'm still in Lower East Side. I think I'm only in the Lower East Side, except that one time or two times that I was in Queens.
Try out the
Um,
Lower West Side or the South Northern.
well, you know, the funny thing is they don't have a Lower West Side. That's weird, but
This sounds so cool. I'm from the Lower West Side.
no, they got the Lower East Side and they just got the West Side.
So, so you say I'm from the I'm from the Lower East. Where are you from? I'm from the West Side. Where are you from? I'm from the South Northern border of the East.
There you go. Now over here it's weird, and they changed it all the time. Today we're gonna
New
be
York
talking
City's
about
amazing, man.
today we're gonna talk about millennials. Um, Unfortunately, we don't have Free and Kat who would love to disagree with us, and I'm sure they're gonna disagree with me at least on what I have to say on this magazine, on this article done by Time Magazine. And of course, I probably won't stick to it 100%, but we're definitely going to speak about how the article was talking about how they were lazy, right? Entitled narcissists who just won't leave. Well, I think I put in who just won't leave their parents, but I
Yeah.
forgot what the whole title of the article was. So, according to, and it's funny, according to the National Institute of Health, 58% of the college students, and I think it was from like a study done from 2009 to, they compared it to 1982. The college students, I guess, were surveyed or took some type of survey, and the scale, 58% of them were considered narcissists or could have been narcissists. Now, so these millennials, and it goes to show because they're all like that. It's all about me. And I think that's what the article is. The whole page was me, 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 me. Um, I'll let you chime in because I'm always shitting on the millennials and Gen Z. So I don't know. What's your take on them? I'll give you my take later on why I don't really feel for them too much.
I don't feel for them whatsoever. Ever. Um, you should always. The world owes you nothing. Nobody in this world owes you anything
Right.
except for yourself. And the fact that people come up saying, I should get that too. They get the participation trophy. You got to call it to them. Again, it goes back to, and you and I has had so many conversations, Rui, about this. People that just feel entitled, man. There's no sense of urgency. That's why nothing means anything to people. That's why they don't care if they have a house or whatnot, because they've never had to earn anything. Their parents bought them their first car. They paid their insurance and kept them on their health insurance when they were 25.
Right.
When I was 18, I was off my parents' shit. I went to the army.
Well, that was the thing back in the days. Like, we were, our goal was to at least by 18, unless we were going to college or whatever, to be out. Like, we didn't want to burden our
Peace.
parents, and we wanted to live our own lives. Why? Because I couldn't fathom that I had to ask my parents, hey, can I bring my girlfriend because I want to like do things with her to the bedroom and stuff?
In
No,
your
I
mom's
wanted my own
house.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all did it, but you know what I'm saying? It's a point of respect, and we've all did it. Really, so I got caught, but our parents have always, it's happened to all of us if you were living. But the point is, and I ain't gonna say I didn't make a few pit stops in return a couple times,
Right, right.
did. But man, I just didn't. It never felt like it did when I was a kid, and I just can't fathom. Like, I won't sell my house right now because, one, the interest rates are crazy, and
Right.
two, the prices of houses are, they're going to come down a little bit. My style house, fortunately, won't. But I could sell it and make money off of it, pay everything off, and still have money for a down payment, guaranteed for another one. But I'm going to pay for this same house a $3,500 mortgage, and I'm not going to be able to move up. But that's the way I think. The way these new guys think, You know, instead of paying $2,000 a month for a mortgage, I'm going to pay that $2,000 and go travel to Jamaica for 7 to 10 days, or I'm going to go out to here and there, and
Right.
then I'm gonna have something happen, whatever. I'm gonna go on disability, and I'm gonna get paid, or I'm gonna move back into my mom and dad's and not leave. They said I could stay here. What?
So
What?
yeah, they have kind of like changed the whole perception. I think as a whole, like for instance, back in the days, we wanted to run businesses, we wanted to have money and make as much money as possible. Where now the whole concept is to live comfortably,
Yeah,
and that has changed the whole outlook on everything. But
work
the
less bills.
but the problem is, or the issue is, I would say the problem. The issue is that Gen Z and millennials, a lot of them, not all, they want to live comfortable, but they're living comfortably under their parents' backs or on top of their parents' backs, meaning
Yeah.
they're living with their parents still, with their family, with their kids. So they're living comfortably, but they're not participating in this comfort.
And a lot of kids nowadays, their parents are from our age. They've paid their house off. They've done it the right way, worked their hand in off, done the 30-year mortgage.
Right.
And the kids are literally going to live at home until they pass away. They know they're going to get that house for free.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard them say these things. I
Yep. Yep.
know I'm just going to mess around or whatever, because I know when my parents died, they own a condo in Miami and they own a freaking house up here, and everything's paid for. I'm the only kid, and then they're going to end up being upper wealthy. They'll sell one of those and
Yeah.
make a ton of money, and they'll spend most of their life not doing
Well,
snakies, but snaking. Crystal the
you
dog.
know what happens with those
Never mind.
kids though. Remember, we did a session on somebody who won the lottery.
Never
Those
mind.
those kids or those grown ups now, they may get these properties, but they'll lose it just as fast because they never worked to get these properties.
Yeah, they'll get tired of maintaining and realize it takes money. They'll take a loan out on it, and then the boom, then they'll get
Yeah.
foreclosed on.
Until they lose it. Again, it's not all millennials because uh, I raised my kids. I raised my kids with an iron hand. So I was a dictator.
What? Say it again.
I said I raised my kids with an iron hand. So I was the dictator. It's what I said, and that's how it went.
Yeah.
And when my kids used to come and tell me, "Hey, look, I have an A," and I would be like, "Oh, that's nice." They used to tell me, "Oh, nothing ever impresses me." But you know what I used to tell them? I said, "You want to impress me? Go get a job and start paying bills. That would impress me a lot." So I didn't. Again, like you keep mentioning the participation trophy. All my life, I told them second is the first loser. You came in
Yeah.
second, oh, that means you lost first. You should have just lost last. You know what I'm saying?
The
Because if
whole
you're gonna
point is you
lose,
lost.
I'm like, if you're gonna lose with gratitude. Lose every game. Don't just win a couple and lose a couple. No,
Yeah.
that's half-assing it.
Don't think that that's okay because you did your best. It's okay.
Yeah,
You did your best, but you're a loser. And
and
not a loser. You're a loser at that season, not a loser this year. You're the loser. Not don't take that. Don't let that make your butt hurt and get in your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And that's the first thing somebody would have said to that, Rui. They would just said, "I'm not a loser." Guess
and
what, Bob? You lost that year. It makes you the loser.
you know what the funny thing is? According to that research, people or millennials especially, because they got so much participation trophies, they feel that they don't have to work hard for a position. And I didn't think of that like that, but it's so true. And I'll tell you from my experience as being a manager in retail for many years and also in the fitness industry and running clubs and hiring people, the hardest people to teach, like they never wanted to move. They just wanted to make money. They wanted a raise just because, but they didn't want to earn it. And don't get me wrong, I was able to work with and mold a couple of millennials, but the rest they didn't want that. They wanted things given
No
to them
parts of it.
because no. And for those who I was able to mold and they became managers and to this day making money, they grew up the same way I raised my children, with the R in hand. Nah, you ain't getting. There's no free lunch. Free lunch went out with the '70s. You know
How
what I'm
many
saying?
kids do you have, Rui?
For me, I have a total of five.
All of them are successful, aren't they?
Um, I mean, I to society standards, where they're not rich, but they're on their
They're
own.
doing what they need to do. They're good. They're good
They're,
people.
they're taking care of themselves and their families. Yes,
Exactly. There
I
you go.
don't. I don't think I had to say, "Oh man, this kid, I had to get him out."
You wouldn't do that anyway. You wouldn't do
You
that
know,
anyway. It's not you. You'd be like, yeah, yeah, he did it, but I expect him to go here because
no,
you're your dad.
of course, the expectations of your
Why
children,
change now?
are always high, but I'm kind of like satisfied at where they're at.
Yeah.
Unlike other parents that I hear and I see and I witness, I'm like, oh no.
You got them to at least your level, but they're your kids, so they should be better than you. So you did
That,
you know in your heart you did your part to get them to your at least your level.
yeah. And the
They're
one thing
there and they're probably way past it. Okay, great, you did your job, and that I don't care what anybody says. That as a parent will make you feel great. Knowing you know what I did all five of them. They may not be. They're not. All right. And that
I,
don't happen. That don't happen just because. Like in
I,
my situation, everything that I've went through, my wife said to me so many times, "It's so amazing how you turned out to be the person you turned out everything turned out to be, going through everything that I've went through."
right,
Because I didn't have that,
right. No,
and
no,
and
no.
and through sheer decision making and the will and determination to just not be that bum.
Okay.
And to be, just take care of myself and to have a little something, carve my little piece out without being greedy. I've done it. I've come back.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to say about myself, I think because I grew up in the '70s and I grew up in a time where neighbors participated in your growth too. So it wasn't only my parents, but your
Yeah.
neighbors participated. You listened to your neighbors. You didn't talk back to your neighbors. Yeah,
Hell no.
it was almost like the whole community helped raise you. Sure,
Yep.
you had some fuck ups and people that didn't follow, didn't want to
Go
listen
next
to
door and can we borrow some bread,
you.
sugar?
But I think that and I was raised by different cultures as well. So I think that had to do a lot with my raising. But
See, that would have been amazing to me as an outsider to be able to live like that. Different cultures. Oh, but
yeah,
I don't know how it's like behind closed doors
no.
and how difficult it can be.
Right,
But from
right,
the
right.
outside, as a selfish white boy from North Carolina, man, I like to live in. Hey, sorry, sorry, dog's trying to fight. Put him up, please.
Uh oh.
Sorry, I don't know
No,
what's
we
wrong.
good.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, no, no. So they
Thanks,
you
honey.
know, I had to give like kudos to my whole neighborhood and my neighbors, the close neighbors and even neighbors that were afar. I think they all participated, but at that time we also respected our neighbors, not like now. A neighbor can't tell someone else's child something because right away, forget about it. You're gonna have their parents coming to you. Oh, don't talk to my child like that. Well, maybe you should tell your child not to come on my property, and I don't have to tell them anything.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
you want to hear a story, really?
Go ahead.
When I first met my ex-wife, we moved into some townhouses down here, and this is in my 30s, early 30s. And I met two fellers, a guy named Chico and a guy named Ross. Um, and they were in their now they're like I'm in my late 40s. They're in their mid 50s. They're older, old enough to be like my big brother. And I seen how those two men, they befriended me, and then there was a black guy there, Snow. These three men had families. Their families are all. Ross's kids. He's now my best friend, by the way, and we
Right.
go to Eagles games together. That's who we do the tickets with. Anyway, um, I seen the way they like Ross done so much work around the house because his wife worked crazy hours and makes a lot of money. So works in the bank and he makes decent money, but he does all the cooking and the cleaning. He does all that because he's OCD.
Right.
And then I seen Chico, how he paid his house off. He had no education, but the man works for NASA. He's got several different, he designs things and blows them up all day. He retired. He was on the front cover of Popular Science magazine, never been to college a day in his life.
Oh, wow.
Amazing Mexican American, amazing man, right? House paid for, beautiful wife, kids are out and gone. Became very close with him. And then Snow, black man, got his house paid for, retired, drives his Harley, laid back, got a kid that's
Right.
in trouble. I became a man, and I was already a man. I've been through a lot, but from meeting them people and becoming close and then taking the time to just show me things that, I mean, I knew things. I was handy, but I didn't know. That's what got me to be the man that I am today. One of the huge reasons, those
Right.
three guys in my life, and I paid attention, but they didn't have to say, hey, let me teach you something. It wasn't like that.
Right.
I realized that I was not doing, I didn't have the knowledge.
Right.
Does that make sense at all?
No, absolutely.
They're huge influences in my life, man. I wanted to be better.
I think this is where the millennials and also Gen Z, especially Gen Z, they're the ones that are really difficult. But I think they don't, because they were raised and how things are different, they do not take input from neighbors and other people like me and you did. Like we were raised by the community, and at that time it was okay because that's what we did. We participated in raising other people's kids as well as they participated in raising your kids.
We've lost
Everybody
the
watched out for
love of the
themselves.
nation for each other, man. The caringness, the ability to have compassion for people. We've lost that.
So now the millennials, all they worried about is themselves. Why? Because they didn't see anything but that. I guess in some cases, like the other day, free made some kind of sense. Some parents may have created this, but at the end of the day, you're an adult now. And, like I told him, if we go to all the homeless spots in New York City, Philly, or San Francisco, and I'm sure Miami as well, and a bunch of other places, what we will see is you'll see some Gen X and some boomers, but that's not the majority of the homelessness that's coming. It's all millennials and Gen Z now. Why? Because they're so lost. They don't take anything as
Amen.
far as advice. They don't care about anything except themselves. So if you only care about yourself and you can't see outside of that box, you're gonna end up where you are because you have to embrace what everybody else is thinking and ask for help or
Their
seek out.
simulation. That's their
Yeah,
truth.
there you go.
That's their
and
truth. That, hey, I'm homeless, but by God, I shouldn't be. It's everybody's fault because they didn't give me no place to live.
and
You
there
didn't give
you
me a
go.
place to live, Rui.
After a while, what they don't realize is parents, they get tired. They get tired of just having a 30, 40-year-old living with you, not doing anything. And literally, like you said in the beginning of this, waiting for you to die so they could have what you have.
Inherit your shit. Yeah. Sorry, I'm too
you
close to it.
know? So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what the world, hopefully Alpha is going to be a little different. But if they're anything like Gen Z, the world as we know it, me and you, is going to be definitely over. The simulation is going to be totally different. Reality perception is already warped.
You did not do. Do you believe? Okay, here we go, and I am not going to let this go. You're going to tell me, Randy, get back on topic. Do you believe that anything about them people that act like that live are homeless because is a truth?
Um, well, yeah, they're okay. So behind everybody's, and I think we discussed this before, behind everybody's issues or homelessness or drug addiction or whatever the issue is, there is a truth that they only know. And there's a reason why they're in the situation they are. But what happens is, unlike Gen X and boomers, we can say, yeah, I have an issue and I'm going to stop myself or I'm going to seek help to do so. Where millennials and Gen X will never say they have an issue, being the issue that they're in, but they like to point fingers. It's
It's
your
their
fault.
ego.
Where we or myself would never blame somebody, I would say it's my fault.
And we could get out of it.
And we get out of it because we embrace what our issue is and we move forward.
You got it.
So,
Until you can do it, you got to accept it. It's like you said, before you can move forward, sooner or later, a man or a woman has got to accept that everything that's happened up to that point is in your past. You cannot change it, but you can write your future, or you can be a part of, a co-author of your future.
So I think the whole selfie paradox of just them and taking pictures and that whole entitlement shit that they feel, they somewhere along the line they got to cut that out and face what reality is, because reality is about to slap all of them right in the head.
Exactly.
And only those, and again, not all millennials and Gen X's are like that, because some were raised differently. There were no participation trophies for some, and only those are the ones that are going to see the light and keep it moving.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you. I go on. I look on some people's Facebook pages, and I'll scroll down, and there's 25 straight posts, picture of them, a different selfie, different selfie, different. And I'm like, God damn, you in love with yourself?
That's
I mean,
all
they
they
just
do.
take pictures of them. I post pictures of my dogs. Every now and then I take a picture of my wife. My wife's beautiful anyway. I'll take pictures of my cat, my bird,
They
and I put
have
my recipes
such
on.
a
God damn, nothing on myself.
they have such a distorted perception of reality that they don't. I mean, this whole mess that we are in, if we really look into it, it's that generation that's getting into this, that got us into this fiscal mess. Not only fiscal,
Bullshit.
societal thinking mess that we're in. This whole thing that we're doing now, and wokeism and being woke, is all them. It's okay to be woke on things, but it's also not okay to look outside, because there's a point in time where that's not going to fly.
Exactly, man. This could be a topic. We could have a 24-hour, 24-hour millennials me session.
So with that said,
That being said,
exactly. With that being said, Time Magazine, you had a great point, or a lot of great points, and millennials and Gen X, get your shit together, because the whole world is going to get their shit together. You're just going to be left behind. It's going to be, what's going to happen is going to be boomers, whoever's alive, Gen X, and then we're just going to skip to Alpha.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Election is coming next year. There will be change.
So change your shit, or just weather the storm. Your choice.
Shit, or be ready to eat shit.
With that
Shitty
said,
situation.
don't forget to share us, like us, and subscribe. And also don't forget to comment on the comment boxes and chime in on the discussion. Thank you. And for those millennials who already hate me, I just gave you more reason to hate me again. Thank you. Thank you, and enjoy. We'll see you on the next session.